Yo, what is up, y'all? Today, we're going to be doing some UFC predictions. We're going to be doing UFC predictions for the fight night card that is coming up this weekend and for UFC 322. I feel like might as well do it. We're getting so many like fights and shit, and just like coverage on 322 is coming up next week. So, big ass card. Of course, we got this filler ass card that, my boy Lucas Tracy, that boy just dipped. He's fucking done. Mainly because of cards like these, I don't really blame him. He's got to do his thing. Hopefully he comes back for 322 so we can see the dynamic trio back in action, because 322 is about to be fucking epic. But anyways, this is predictions once again with just UFC Fight Night, UFC 322. I'm not going to do the rest of the cards that are after these ones because I'll just wait. I'll wait. I feel like Sarukian and Hooker and what else? 323 and then Cape and Royval. That's not really getting as much media coverage as more Della Maddalena and Makachev. Just 322 as a whole. So we'll go through the fight night, just how I feel. Really, we're just going to go through the main event. Everything else, once again, like I always say this about predictions. My predictions do not fucking matter. Do not take these serious at all. Like I'm not betting. I do not bet. I'm just going with whoever I feel like. Some of these fights that we're probably going to get into, I'll literally just pick the fighter just because of how they look. Like, just once again, like, just strap in, be prepared for this. So let's start off with UFC Fight Night, Bonfim versus Brown. All right, fucking John Anik, bro. All right, thank you, UFC. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to start with the main card. Holy shit, bro. Matt Schnell is back. Oh my God, dude. Okay. Anyways, we're going to start with the main card, Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. I have Gabriel Bonfim winning this fight by decision. If not decision, then probably like a second, third round sub. I think a lot of people, I'm going to keep it real, I think a lot of people are counting out Gabriel Bonfim in this fight. I wouldn't say, in the Wonder Boy fight, he really proved himself. I think Wonder Boy actually won that fight, but hey, that third round was very iffy. Wonder Boy could have had more output, I guess, but I think he won that third round, second and third pretty clearly. But Bonfim, I was watching his Chaos Williams performance. Really good guy, or really good fighter. He really just sticks to really, the outside leg kick, the jab, and taking you down. He never really tries to switch it up from there. Which I don't really see as a problem, because it's really money. His jab is very, very good. Once again, with his, he'll either go outside or inside leg kick, and I just feel like that is going to serve a lot of problems with Randy Brown. I was watching a ton of Randy Brown fights, and literally Randy Brown's biggest issue is that he cannot check a kick worth his life. I'm not saying that that's going to be the beginning of the end for him, but when you watch like the Vicente Luque fight versus Randy Brown, I know Randy Brown was still on the up and coming in the UFC, but took a lot of damaging leg kicks in that fight. I don't think Bonfim has the power to knock out Brown. I think Brown has the power to knock out Bonfim, but Brown, he's just one of those like awkward, lengthy, in a way, like he kind of reminds me of John Jones. Like seriously, just this like super lengthy, freakish, like tall guy that, that's really all that he can depend on, in my opinion, with Randy Brown. Just overall, like on the feet, like Nicholas Dalby. I mean, he let Nicholas Dalby knock him down. Let's not forget that. Randy Brown, strong, powerful guy. Do not get me wrong, a super powerful guy. But when he goes against fighters that are actually like a little bit taller or maybe even around the same height as him, just kind of more like, I guess, standing their base. Stand your base! And not backing up, letting Brown, because Brown, once again, is a lengthy fucking fighter, but he really just uses that jab. His hooks aren't really the best, kind of awkward as well. And like I said, I got Gabriel Bonfim winning this. I just think that once he gets, that's another thing going in with Randy, talking about Randy Brown, is that once you take him down, I mean, there isn't really much that Brown has to offer. He's lengthy. It's kind of like Phil Rowe whenever he fought that one dude on last week's Fight Night card. Lengthy dude. I don't really think he has the ability to escape once he's on his back. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like it is a little bit harder for taller fighters to get up and kind of scramble, mainly because of the length that they have. And Randy Brown, he is a freakishly lengthy fighter. He's like Steve Garcia. It's just weird. His proportions are weird. His fucking arms, his reach, like just a very awkward fighter. I don't know what Randy Brown could do to Bonfim besides knock him out. That's it. That's why I have Bonfim in this, because Bonfim, yes, he got hurt by Thompson, but he took on a 42-year-old veteran. I know it wasn't, once again, I called a robbery and whatnot, but still Bonfim held his own. Got a nice check in that fight. So if Brown tries to throw some leg kicks, maybe Bonfim can get another check and, cut open Randy Brown's shin or something. once again, I just, with Bonfim, I really think that the success is going to be coming from the grappling, and Bonfim with the outside and inside leg kicks. I think he's going to be doing a lot of outside leg kicks, especially because if you watch that Luque fight, I mean, I think that's all you really got to stick to. But yeah, overall with this main event, how I really feel about it, it's a good main event. Most people, I feel like are shitting on this fight night card, kind of like how they did with last week's, but that's fine. I mean, last week wasn't really the best card ever. Yes, there was a lot of finishes, but still a little underwhelming in my opinion. Still a good card though, don't get me wrong. Especially, I think this one is probably going to be a solid card, but then again, I mean, you had my boy Flukas, bro. He fucking left, dog. Dude, this shit is not peaches and creamville. So we'll move on. I got Bonfim though by, I would either say unanimous decision or third round submission. If not, then I think Randy Brown could win by KO, but I just don't see that happening. I mean, nothing against the dude, but he lost to Brian Battle. Seriously, I know Brian Battle missed weight. I don't give a shit, dude. Seriously, Randy Brown, it's kind of like personal beef, bro, because when he lost to Randy Brown, when he lost to Brian Battle, he was calling Brian Battle a bum and then asking for a rank opponent afterwards or some shit like that, some stupid shit on Twitter that he was doing. And yeah, ever since then, I kind of just had this little vendetta against Randy Brown. I don't really have anything against him. I think he's a pretty solid fighter. I just don't think he's really as technical, as skillful, seriously, as Bonfim, because yes, Bonfim can switch it up. But besides that, I keep fucking yapping about this main event. We're going to move on now to the co-main. Matt Snell versus Joseph Morales. Now, I'm going to keep it real. Joseph Morales, I'm pretty sure I have seen him fight. I just don't remember who the fuck he has fought. I'm going to go with Joseph Morales just because Matt Snell coming back. Literally, all you got to do is just slap him on his chin and he's getting knocked out. That's why I got Joseph Morales. So, moving on to the next fight. Muslim Salikov versus Uros Medic. This is actually a good fight. Damn, this is actually a good matchup right here. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie though. I got Uros. I think Uros, Medic, 100% probably gonna get the knockout. I mean, Muslim Salikov, good ass spin and wheel kick. I'm pretty sure he got his 5th one on. I was about to say Somadarji, but that's fucking flyweight. Song Kanon. That was the guy's name, if I'm right. In Japan, that's who Muslim Salikov hit with the or China. I don't really remember the card it was, but I got Medic. I think Medic is probably going to get the KO. He had a really good KO over Gilbert Uranus, and yeah, scary guy, both bald. One's from Siberia, one's from Russia. I'm going to go with the Siberian motherfucker. Moving on to the next fight, we got Chris Padilla versus Ismail Bonfim. I'm going to keep it real. Chris Padilla, he had that fucking nasty-ass elbow on Zurong, and I'm going to say this much. If any of you guys are picking Ismail or Ismail, I don't fucking know. Bonfim, if you're picking the other Bonfim, wrong. Because I'm going with Chris Padilla. I don't give a shit, bro. I like Chris Padilla. That's it. Just favorite in him. Bonfim's probably going to win, but I got Chris Padilla for sure. Moving on to the next fight. This is the fight of the night. This is the underrated fucking fight. A lot of people, I'm going to keep it real, are going with Marco Tulio. Do not get me wrong, bro. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Marco Tulio. I'm going to keep it real, bro. I got Christian Leroy Duncan. I know it might sound crazy. Marco Tulio, if I'm right, he's only been in the UFC. He only has about 2 fights, if I'm right. I kind of want to check his profile out, but I'm not sure. I want to say that he has 2 fights. Let me look real quick, because I could be wrong. Yeah, he does. He has 2 fights, all coming by KO. Okay. Potiera, Igor, not bad. Tresean Gore, not bad. Being KOs especially. I mean, I wouldn't say Igor is the best. He kind of gets knocked out all the fucking time. And then you got Christian Leroy Duncan, who had the really good KO over Anders. Decision against Puliev. And then he also lost to Rodriguez. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually kind of an even matchup in my opinion. But, I mean, do I want to go with Christian Leroy Duncan? Okay, no, I'm not. I'm going to go with Marco Tulio. I'm not going to lie, because I'm really looking back on his KOs and shit, and he is a fucking KO machine. Christian Leroy Duncan, I do like, though. I think he's a solid prospect. He's got really good kickboxing, just switching up his style. A lot of people compare him to John Jones. I mean, I guess I could see that. But Marco Tulio just really being the powerhouse. I guess I'm going to go with Marco Tulio. I mean, I guess I could see him maybe winning by decision. I don't really see Leroy getting knocked out, but hey, then again, I mean, I don't know, but I'll see Tulio. I think maybe late 3rd round. KO and then maybe a decision or decision. So yeah, that's what I'll go with. So Marco Tulio or Leroy by decision. I don't see him knocking out Tulio. Tulio and Dumont, I mean, Dumont had a little bit of an iffy fight. She still won that fight though. They're dogs. I'm gonna keep it real. Like seriously, like they are dogs. Like for real. Tulio, Dumont, well, I don't know what gym they come from, but they're fucking dogs, bro. For real. And Tulio, he needs to get a little bit more active, get some more fights going. I'm pretty sure though, if I'm right, he has fought twice this year. Yeah. So I'll take that back completely. I'll take that back. So yeah, I got Marco Tulio, late third round KO or unanimous decision. Hell, even maybe a split decision. I could really see this fight being a very, very good fight for real. Super lengthy kickboxer versus a powerhouse once again. I mean, I think it's a treat, bro. I'm going to keep it real. It's a good-ass fight. Moving on to the prelims, though, we got Haider Emil versus Jamal Emmerts. I'm going to go with Haider Emil. This is a really good comeback fight for him, especially after losing to Jose Delgado, getting that, fast-ass knockout on Emil. I think this is just another one in the books for Emil to get. Probably a KO, to be honest. I could definitely see him getting this. Moving on to the next fight, we got Ricky Simone versus Rony Barcelos. I got Rony Barcelos. I'm not going to lie, bro. Shout out my boy Bedtime MMA, bro. I fucking watched one of his latest videos talking about like the dark horses of contenders or whatnot. And he said Rony Barcelos is the dark horse of bantamweight. So I'm going to go with this, bro. I don't give a fuck. Ricky Simone is the dark horse as well. I'm not going to lie. I mean, let's keep it real. Knockout Machine versus, Marab Jr. I just got Barcelos. He's probably going to grapple his way to a victory. And he is kind of a marauder, bro. Let's keep it real. Like, he kind of is. That fight with Cody Garbrandt, he showed levels, especially how old that motherfucker is, bro. I know Cody Garbrandt isn't the best, but I think Barcelos could win it. If not, I mean, he's probably going to get chinned by Ricky. So I'll go Barcelos, though. Moving on to the next fight. God damn, bitch. How the fuck did you go from number 10, bro? This is crazy. Mara Bueno Silva versus Jacqueline Conti. This is crazy, bro. Silva went from like top 3 in the women's bantamweight to now dropping to 10. She lost to fucking Macy Chassion or whatever the hell, and that's it for her. She's number 10. Jesus, this bitch was fighting for a title. Like last year, this bitch was fighting for a fucking title. I'm going to go with Jacqueline. Don't really have much to say about this fight. Silva, you like to lay on your back. You have good submission skills. I'm just going to go with Jacqueline. That's all I got to say. Moving on to the next fight. Josh Hokick, the Hawk, bro, versus Matt Gimenez. You guys should already know I'm a Dana White Contender Series fucking whore. I'm going with Josh Hokick. You already know. And trust me, because we're going to get all the political figures, the Democrats, the transgenders, the school shooters, and we're going to all put them in an octagon, and I'm going to whoop their ass. If you know, you know. That's my Hokick impression. So, I got Hokick, though, probably by first round KO. My bad. Big guy, but not super big. Doesn't really rely on his strength. Relies on his wrestling a lot, which I think, is a very important thing to have in heavyweight. I feel like most heavyweights do not have wrestling. So I think Hokick is going to get a dominant KO for sure. Don't see this fight going any farther than the third round. So I'm going with Josh Hokick. Moving on to the next fight, we have Tisha Pennington versus Denise Gomez. I have Tisha Pennington winning this fight. I don't know anything about these people. I just know Pennington's been robbed in her last couple of fights. That's pretty much all I have to say. So I'm just going to go with Pennington probably by like split. I think this will be a split decision fight. Gomez, I don't know. Let me look at her stuff real quick. Oh, this fight fucking sucked, bro. When she fought Carolina, oh my god, that fight was fucking awful. Oh, this was last year, though. So who did Carolina fight this year? I don't fucking remember, man. The Reed Gomez, I don't remember that fight. I'm probably have to rewatch it back. I mean, it's maybe a decent KO, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Tisha Pennington. I don't really give a shit. Moving on. We got Miles Johns versus Daniel Marcos. This is actually kind of an underrated fight. I got Daniel Marcos winning this fight, though. I think Miles John, nothing really against the guy. He is powerful. He has solid wrestling. I just think Daniel Marcos is more technical on the feet. Miles John, he kind of reminds me of like a CJ Vergara. Kind of just like chinny. He has moments, but they're not really great. Nothing against the guy. I mean, if I'm right, like Miles John, what is his record? 15-4, nothing too bad. Lost to Matsumoto, which was a good fight, actually. I take that back about Miles John. He lost to Lima. Yeah, he's just kind of losing to young prospects. I don't think he's going to beat Daniel Marcos, especially because Marcos was about to get into the rankings. And if I'm right, Marcos lost to, yeah, it was Montel Jackson. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Daniel Marcos, probably by a unanimous decision. So, moving on to the last fucking fight, man. This sucks because my boy Dante Johnson was actually supposed to be on this fight, or on this card. He was the replacement for this catchweight bout going against Jackson McVeigh. But the fucking USADA or UFC, whatever, they said no because of some medical issues, which supposedly Dante Johnson did have staff, looked like he did. So just sucks though, because we would have had another Dana White Contender Series history moment. I don't even know how to say it. Like, we would have had Dante Johnson and Bea Sanger, both of them fighting within like under a week would have been insane without a doubt. But now we got Jackson McVeigh versus Robert Valentin. I'm going to just go with like Valentin. I don't know anything about McVeigh. I don't know anything about him. He looks like Kyler Phillips, so I'm just going to go with Valentin. Yeah. So this is my predictions on the fight nights. Really, only thing that really matters, I guess, to me is like the main event. I got Bonfim. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. This is an underrated card. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100% real. This is an underrated card. I know most people, Dana getting fucking rage baited about, motherfuckers saying that why are the next two cards so ass, and Dana was, they didn't even fucking happen, you stupid fuck. They didn't even fucking happen. He's got the coke lodged in his goddamn throat, bro, because he's been snorting too fucking much. But anyways, I'm just yapping. We're gonna get into UFC 322 now. But still, Bonfim versus Brown is not a bad fight card. I feel like I've watched way worse, bro. Tibura, Spivak 2, UFC London, UFC 312. Like, I feel like I just go on and on, bro, about all the ass cards I've ever fucking seen. And I do not think that this fight night card will be one of them. But hey, maybe I'm eating my own shit. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, we're moving on now to UFC 322. And here's our predictions for the main event. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. I just realized that fucking Islam Makhachev, he has a fucking H, bro. This whole time I'm spelling his last name Makachev. This is how I've been spelling this motherfucker's name. So now he's got a fucking H in the middle of his goddamn last name, and I gotta remember that now. So, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up. But anyways, we're in the main event, and I'm gonna keep it real, man. I'm gonna keep it real. I know that I've made videos, kind of talking about JDM, not really giving him the praise that he deserves. I kind of been giving Islam a little bit of the praise, but I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching some fights back. I watched JDM versus Bilal, JDM versus Brown. I watched Islam versus Oliveira, Islam versus Poirier, Islam versus Moicano. And I'm gonna keep it real with my predictions. What I genuinely think. I think JDM is going to win. I think JDM is going to beat Islam Makhachev. I think this is going to be a decision fight. I do not see JDM getting a finish. Once again, I have JDM winning, but I think I've said this in my previous video, I could see JDM knocking out Islam, especially, the higher weight class. I even tried to say that JDM's taller than Islam. I'm pretty sure they're the same exact height. So it's going to be a little interesting. I just, looking at Islam's fight, especially the Poirier fight, looking back on that was a really, really good fight, especially for Islam. Very, very dominant. Had him winning pretty much every single round besides the fourth. But, the one problem with Islam Makhachev, in my opinion at least, is that later in the rounds, he sort of just kind of loses his technicality. He kind of just doesn't, in that Poirier fight, he just decides to really just stand up. He is landing very cleanly. He's getting very significant damage done on Poirier, do not get me wrong. But I just think with Islam going up against JDM, who I think is a way better boxer than Poirier, I just don't think it's the best idea for Islam to go in here, ready to throw hands. Watching the JDM and Bilal fight, Bilal did have success in the hands, but I feel like he had more success with the body kicks, lead kicks. These fucking Dagestanis, I know Bilal isn't one, but he trains with them. They have very weird kicks. And I think Islam, there was, I think, a moment in the Poirier fight, it was like round 1 or 2, where Islam tried to throw a head kick. He landed it. It was in the guard of Poirier, but still it was a heavy head kick. And I just think, if Islam really wants to win this fight, he's not going to have to, he cannot go into this fight like how he did with the Poirier fight. He has got to depend on the wrestling. He has got to depend on his kicks as well, genuinely. His front teep, his high kick is fucking money. I watched the Volk and Islam when he got the head kick, the rematch. I mean, his high kick is genuinely, Islam's high kick is money. Like, I'm just going to say that much. I could 100% see him hurting Jack Della Maddalena with a head kick because Bilal had success in those moments. But with the grappling, I'm going to keep it real, man. If Dustin Poirier is stuffing your fucking takedowns, I think JDM is going to stuff him. I know Poirier, he was getting taken down, don't get me wrong, but we're talking about a 37-year-old Poirier. And as the fight was going on, like later in the fight, Poirier was just getting better. But that's the thing with this fight, I don't see it being that way. I see it more of JDM having a lot of success early on, and then later in the rounds, Islam starts to take over, because in the Bilal and JDM fight, once again, like, Bilal wasn't having as much success as JDM, especially on damage and being significant on the feet, but Bilal was still landing. JDM, he is really good at moving back and moving his head, but the problem with JDM is that when he stays in the pocket and tries to move his head around instead of backing up and invading danger, he usually ends up getting caught. So, like I said, like, I think Islam will still do very well on the feet, but I just think JDM, it's going to be like that Bilal and JDM fight where JDM is going to land the better shots, the more significant ones, while Islam is really going to have to depend on his grappling and really keeping distance. I feel like Islam is going to have to keep distance 100%, because once again, if they get into exchanges, I think JDM is going to win every single one of them. I mean, seriously, I think there will be moments where Islam will try to pressure. Hopefully JDM can get a counter left in, because, dude, holy shit, man. Islam Makhachev, all he needs to get caught by is a counter left hook, and he's fucking ruined, bro. I mean, genuinely, like, he loves to blitz. He loves keeping that lead hand down. He loves throwing that right hook, and it's really not that good either. Excuse me. Little, it's fall and shit, so your boy's a little congested, but, excuse me. But, I mean, like I said, like, this fight is so hard to pick, like, genuinely. Like, I want everyone to know this, like, I am going with Jack Della Maddalena, but this fight is so hard to pick. Islam, the reason I'm picking JDM is because JDM is the true 170 fighter. Islam is coming up. It's a little bit dangerous, more power. It's a different weight class, bro. Like, seriously, this isn't like 160, 165. I know those aren't weight classes, but this isn't like, just a 5-10 pound jump. You're going 15 pounds up. It's a little big of a jump, man. I'm going to keep it real. I think Islam is still going to have success, though. And like I said, man, I mean, this fight, I'm going to keep it real. If it goes to decision, I know I have JDM by decision, but if it goes to decision, bro, I don't see it being any other way than a split. I mean, seriously. So, this fight's fucking crazy, bro. Like, genuinely. I still have JDM winning, though. I just think he's not going to have much success as he did against Bilal, trying to get those, rolling out, bridging off of Bilal in that fight. JDM did well escaping from Bilal, especially whenever he would get to the ground. Like in that fifth round when Bilal had him down on the ground, JDM did well at escaping, rolling under him. I guess doing a Granby roll. But, I mean, this is Islam, bro. This is a different fucking breed. He's 34 years old. He's still in his prime. So, I hope JDM exposes him, though, because, people love to call Islam Makhachev one of the greatest fighters of all time. Like I said, he's got that Khabib legacy. I won't take away his fight against Oliveira, and I won't even take away his fight against Poirier, but the Moicano, and his fans always just talk about, he's reigned for years, he's done so much as a champ. I mean, I don't know. And then you forget about the Volk fights. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I forget about the Volk fights, and it's like, I understand why Islam doesn't want to fight another featherweight, but at the same time, I mean, when that featherweight has way more hype because he knocked out the dude that, you could only knock out on short notice, the tension's there, bro. So, it's a little recency bias. So, nothing against Islam. He's one of the greatest for sure. But, once he retires, let's see. If he wins that belt, he's one of the greatest. It's undisputed, without a doubt. Don't get me wrong. But, if JDM wins, what are y'all going to be saying now? My boy JDM, bro. If he spots the cunt, bro, what are you going to say now? So, moving on to the next fight, though, because I ain't going to sit on this fucking main event too long. So, we got the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Shit, bro. If you already know who I'm going with, I am going with Weili. I don't think there needs to be any conversation about this or debate. Weili, still in the prime of her career. I was watching Suarez versus Weili, and trying to watch Farouk versus Shevchenko, but it's like I can't watch those fights. It's just it's different styles. Weili is not going to come into this fight like Farouk, where she has a solid first round and then just completely loses everything else after the fight. Weili's going to bring it. Weili's going to wrestle. In my opinion, how I see this fight, it's kind of like Namajunas versus Weili again. I could see Shevchenko having success, especially with a high kick maybe. But Weili, I just feel like ever since Weili has lost to Namajunas, she's literally done nothing but improve. Then again, she's not going against the best competition. Neither of them are. So I don't know, man. I still have Weili winning this fight. I think it's going to be a unanimous or another split decision for sure. Shevchenko, I'm not the biggest fan of. It took you 3 fights to beat Alexa Grasso. I know that second fight people want to call a robbery and whatnot, but still, it took you 3 fights to get the belt back against somebody who really wasn't all that good. And yeah, I just think Weili, she literally dominates. I'll never forget her performance against Yao Jinan, or isn't that her name? I don't fucking know, dude. Yao Xingyang, whatever the fuck that bitch's name is. Her performance against Amanda Lemos, her performance against Tatiana Suarez, it's just all dominant. Valentina Shevchenko, yes, it's dominant, but it's a very weird dominance, in my opinion, at least. It's more just kind of like getting you up against the fence, cage clinching you. That's kind of what Shevchenko did, at least in her last fight, I want to say. But with this Weili fight, I think Weili is just going to wrestle fuck, get Shevchenko to the ground. And yeah, I see it like Grasso versus Shevchenko, where it's like Weili's just going to get her to the ground. Shevchenko's going to have to get back up. And that's really the significant things that are going to happen in this fight. So I got Weili, unanimous decision. I don't think, if I say unanimous, maybe like 40, I was going to say like 49, 46, but I'll say I'm going to say 49-46. Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the next fight, we got Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Man, I'm going to keep it real. This is a little bit of an iffy fight. I think Michael Morales is taking a huge step up. I think a lot of people are counting out Sean Brady. Underrated for sure. I thought his performance against Leon Edwards was really, really good. But at the same time, it's Leon Edwards. You can't really give that much of a props to him. Then, his fight against Burns, old-ass Burns. I can't really give that much of props to Brady. But still, he's trying to fight for that title. Watching his interview with Ariel Helwani, where he's talking about, there is no true number one contender spot. The only way to be a real number one contender is just fight, because the UFC will literally pick whoever. They do not care if you're the number one contender. Good point by Brady. I just think he's taking on a freak, bro. Seriously, if I could compare Michael Morales to anyone, I would compare him to Giannis. I would compare him to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just a fucking freak, bro. A genetic freak. Seriously. So, I don't know. Michael Morales, he had the Neil Magny fight and the Burns fight. Pure domination. I mean, just pure domination. That Burns fight was so depressing to watch, man. I mean, once again, I think I said in my last video, Gilbert Burns is one of the main reasons I ever got into the UFC and the Hardwick Bros. But dude, I don't know. This fight, I think it's a lot more even than people want to say. Because, Michael Morales, he's undefeated. He's on a really good win streak. Sean Brady, he lost to Bilal. Let's not forget that. But still, it's one loss, and he lost to a former champ. I know Bilal wasn't the champ at the time, but, that loss has aged pretty well for Brady. Considering that Bilal has become something. So, not trying to throw some Poirier resume shit, but that is technically an elite L for Sean Brady. So, but I don't know. I think, once this fight gets, I think it's really going to be a striking match where Morales is going to have a lot of success, because I think once it gets to the ground, I kind of see it being like a Dern Jajaroba fight where Brady kind of just, doesn't let Morales engage in his guard. He kind of just breaks away. Brady staying in guard. I don't really see Brady getting top mount or top position, but maybe he can. Maybe he can land a takedown on Morales. I don't really know. I think these two, though, like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a striking match. And I think Morales is probably going to win, but I'm going to take Brady by decision. If not, I think Morales could probably win by first or second round KO for Showski. So that's what I think. Moving on to the next fight, though, we got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Man, Leon Edwards, man. Remember the times we had. The times that you and me had. I had to break out in a little musical cue real quick, because this man Leon Edwards, bro, I don't know, it's insane, because going back to when he knocked out Kamaru Usman. That literally was the highlight of 2022, 2023. Just insane. And then ever since that, he's literally done nothing. He's just, he went to go fight Colby Covington. Very boring fight. Fought Bilal Muhammad. Got absolutely mauled. Fought Sean Brady. Got absolutely mauled. And now he's fighting Carlos Prates. I mean, like, in all how I feel about this, man. Yeah, like Leon Edwards, bro. I was going on the fight. Whoever I was calling the dark horse, bro. Ronnie Barcelos, bro. Like, Leon Edwards, he's kind of the dark horse, bro. But it's like, nah, man. I'm the dark horse, bro. Don't worry me, bro. I don't think Leon Edwards is going to win this fight, bro. I hate to say it for real, because, I'm not a Leon fan, by the way. I'm not trying to, make it sounds like I am, but I promise I'm not a Leon fan, bro. But this man was a champion. One of the greats. People can say whatever. I can say whatever, but still he held that belt, beat one of the greatest fighters in the welterweight division to win that belt. So there's a lot of respect. His last 2 fights, he went up against very dominant grapplers. So now he's going up against an actual striker who's tricky, has a lot of power, is not Kamaru Usman. Like, seriously, I feel like Leon Edwards, if we really look back on all his fights, especially as a champ, he fought nothing but wrestlers. And especially after he lost the belt, I really I want to say that Leon Edwards can win this fight, but I don't see him winning this fight at all. He's an undersized welterweight. Carlos Prates, lengthy, scary. I have Prates winning. I honestly think Prates can knock him out too. I hope he does. I really hate to say it, because it would be cool to see Leon win and come back and as crazy as it sounds, maybe we could get that Usman and Leon quadrilogy. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds crazy, but then again, if not, then you get Prates and Usman, or Prates and Shavkat, or you just give Prates a fucking title shot. I don't know. I got Prates though. I'm gonna probably say by decision. I know it's crazy, but Leon, I mean, I just feel like Leon, he doesn't he'll always be remembered for getting hurt by Nate Diaz, but I've just never seen Leon go down. But maybe Prates can really be the one to take him down, put his lights out. So I'm going to go with Prates, though. I'm going to say unanimous. I'm going to say maybe 30-27. Yeah, I could really see that. I just feel like Leon Edwards, he's not going to have success in the exchanges, with the hands. I think maybe he could land a solid body kick, even a head kick. But then again, I think that's all Leon probably is going to land. And Prates is going to dominate. So moving on to the next fight, we got Beneil Dariush versus my boy Benoit Saint Denis. Listen, bro, I feel like people are counting out my boy Dariush. I gotta go with the underdog pick. Seriously, I gotta go with it. I got Dariush winning this fight. He's a veteran. I feel like when it comes to Saint Denis, and it shows every time when he fights a legitimate veteran, he gets fucking starched, bro. I mean, Moicano absolutely destroyed him. So, and Dariush beat Moicano. I'm not trying to put the 2 and 2 together or whatever, but Benoit is the younger guy, but he has just terrible defense. Good grappling, don't get me wrong, he does have very good grappling, but I wouldn't say the good grappling. I would just say, maybe above average in the rankings. Anyone below him that doesn't have any grappling experience, he's probably going to whoop their ass. But anyone above, especially like Dariush, I don't see Benoit winning this fight. I'm going to keep it real. I see Dariush winning this. And I'm not going to lie, if Dariush wins this fight, bro, he kind of deserves a top contender. I'm not saying, actually, I am kind of saying it. Maybe Justin Gaethje. As crazy as it sounds, bro, I feel like Dariush, he's been in this game for a long time, bro. I'm not saying that he deserves a title shot, but it's let's get him up in them rankings, bro. Seriously, he's been in the rankings for a super long time. Let's start climbing his ass up, and let's see what we can do if he can win this fight. If not, then we do the same thing with Benoit. Either way, I see this fight being unanimous for either way, 29-28. If not, maybe I could see Benoit getting a submission, but I don't think that's very likely to hit on Dariush. So maybe Benoit can knock him out. Hernandez knocked out Dariush, so never say never, bro. But still, I have Dariush winning this fight, 29-28 decision for sure. Moving on to the next fight. I don't even care to fucking talk about this fight. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. Bo Nickel's going to win by decision. I don't know much about Rodolfo Vieira. I'm pretty sure I have seen him fight before, but don't really know much. I'm just going to go with Bo Nickel because they're still trying to build this guy up. So, whatever, bro. Here's some building up for him just for him to lose to fucking Roman Dolidze. So, moving on to the next fight. We got Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. Why are my dogs losing their minds right now? Fuck. Well, excuse my dogs, but whatever. They're going to be barking for a little bit. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. Rodriguez had a really nasty KO over Jack Hermanson. You know, the Chris Leroy Duncan fight, very, very good. The Cannonier fight, I would even say good. Just, you know, he doesn't have the experience to go 5 rounds like Cannonier. Especially, I don't even think Rodriguez has really ever gotten hurt as bad, in my opinion. I know he's got knocked out before, but I think to really, you know, drag out that fight and take the damage that he did, like, I mean, seriously, Cannonier was 40 years old, and he put a pretty solid beating on Rodriguez, especially for taking his own beating in that first fucking round. But, I'm going to go with Kopylov, actually. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kopylov. Just a solid kickboxer, man. He really is very, very fast. Rodriguez is very just, he relies a lot on his power. He has power, don't get me wrong. I think he can knock out Kopylov, but nah. I think if it stands on the feet, Kopylov wins. I feel like the only way to really beat Kopylov is taking him to the ground. If this is going to be a striking match, I think Kopylov is going to win. And honestly, I could see this being a knockout, like a second round KO. This is a really good fight. Like, seriously, a really underrated fight right here. A lot of power behind these two. I could see Rodriguez hurting Kopylov, but then again, I don't know. Kopylov's very awkward. You know, like I said, with these Russian motherfuckers, man, with their kickboxing, very awkward. You know, very good movement. Rodriguez moves like a fucking robot. That's why you call him RoboCop. So, yeah, I got Kopylov. I think Kopylov can honestly just fucking land a head kick flush right on the fucking temple of Rodriguez, dropping him, knocking his ass out. If not, once again, I think it'd be like 29-28 decision. So, yeah. Moving on to the next fight, we got Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. I mean, this should be a no-brainer for y'all. You know, I think Blanchfield is going to win. Cortez, she doesn't have anything. I have nothing against the bitch, but she literally has nothing to bring to this fight. Erin Blanchfield is probably just going to cage clinch her to oblivion, and she'll win by a 30-27 decision. Moving on to the next fight, we got Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. This is actually a super underrated fight. I've seen some clips and even some people saying that Cody Haddon's probably going to win this fight. I don't know much about Cody Haddon. Let me see if I've watched any of his fights. Yeah, Argueta, I don't know who the fuck that is. Sorry, man. I don't know who that is. I don't even know if I've watched that fight. I didn't even look at the date. So, I'm going to go Wellmaker. Wellmaker by KO. I mean, I don't know. I think this is honestly going to be a really good fight, though. Like, seriously, Cody Haddon, I've seen some clips. He's got pretty solid hands. But Wellmaker, he's got that fucking power. But once again, you know, you can have that power. Who are you knocking out with that power, though? If you're knocking out Chris Moutinho's and fucking DDP's husband, I mean, I just don't think that's enough. I'm sorry, but I just genuinely don't think it's enough. So these two, you know, up-and-comers, if Malcolm Wellmaker gets a knockout over Cody Haddon, I mean, I have respect for Wellmaker. Go ahead, get him a rank opponent. Hell, even maybe like him versus McGee would be a pretty good fight, or like Phillips, Font. Font would be a pretty big jump for Wellmaker. But I don't know. I think if anything, if Wellmaker can get Haddon done, especially in the first round, he can knock him out. Give him a rank opponent. But I think with Haddon too, if Haddon can get Wellmaker up and out of there, give him a rank opponent. As crazy as it sounds. I mean, I don't know. We need more young prospects though. So this is gonna be a really good fight to see. I got Wellmaker though. I'll probably say first round KO, or maybe like second round KO. But then again, it could be another decision fight. You never fucking know. Moving on to the early prelims, though, we got Kyle Dawkins versus Gerald Mearshart. Bro, my boy, my boy Gerald fucking Mearshart, bro. Let's go. But we also got my boy Kyle fucking Topuria, bro. If you know, you fucking know. I don't know who to go with. This is an unk-ass fight. I'm probably going to go with Kyle Dawkins, though. You know, got that nice knockout over Michelle Pereira. It was a really good, I think it was a left hook. If I'm right, it was a counter left hook that dropped Pereira. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle Dawkins. Seems like maybe he's on a little bit of a comeback tour. And Gerald Mearshart, you know, just the old dude, bro, has really good grappling, but, you know, on the feet, he's fucking doomed. So I can see Gerald Mearshart wrestle fucking his way to win, but I think Dawkins is going to get the KO. So yeah, I got Dawkins by maybe, I'll say first round. Fuck it. I got my boy Topuria, Kyle Topuria, first round KO. Moving on to the next fight, Pat Sabatini versus Chepe Marskalaw. This is fucking what's his face, bro. It's not what's his face because it's a featherweight bout, but I thought this was fucking Bruno Ferreira, bro. Because I've been looking on my TikTok, bro, and he's been popping up Chepe, and bro, holy fuck, I legitimately thought he was Bruno Ferreira. Yeah, I'm an idiot, bro. But I'm gonna go with Chepe. I mean, if I'm right, Chepe is on like he's on a 3-fight win streak. Sorry for that little. Sounded like fucking Nosferatu for a minute. But he's on a 3-fight win streak. Morgan Charrier. I forgot. Damon Jackson. I don't know the Ramos. But, I mean, they're all decision, though. And then Pat, I think, if I'm right, Pat does have a win. Yeah. Was it KO? No, it was a decision. And he also beat Jonathan Pierce. Not the best, but a little inactive, too, you know. I'm going to go with Chepe. Unanimous. Yeah. Moving on to the next fight, we got Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. I'm guessing this is Angela Hill's last fight, so I'm going to go with Angela Hill. So, yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this fight. Moving on to the next one, though, we got Bansanger Susakayev. Still trying to remember his fucking name. Versus Eric McConnanico. If I'm right, this dude is the one that fought, Cody Brundage. And they had a really ass fight. It was really weird. And Eric ended up winning that fight, right? Yeah, and it was a very weird fight, but hey, whatever. I got Bansanger. I know in that, what's his name? Thomas Nolan, if I'm right. If that's his name, Tom Nolan. I know in that Thomas Nolan fight, he got hurt. But I think, as crazy as it sounds, Tom Nolan is actually a good fucking prospect. He was just up a weight class. I genuinely think Tom Nolan is going to be a fucking scary ass dude in the welterweight division. He has really good hands. But with this fight, yeah, I think Bansanger, he's easily going to win. He's probably going to get a submission. I think he could get a submission. Probably even knock out Makano. Or Eric. I'm not going to say his fucking last name. I just keep fucking it up. But, yeah, I could probably see this being like, you just got this awkward fucking middleweight dude that's just in the middleweight division versus an up-and-comer, who wants to fight. This is his third fight this year. Counting the Contender Series. So this is his third fight this year. I have Bansanger winning 100%. Maybe second round, maybe by a rear naked choke, Darce choke maybe. If not, maybe he could just land a really nice right hand, knocking out Makano, finish it up with some ground and pound shots. I'm not really sure. I got Bansanger though, and that is my predictions for UFC Fight Night, Bonfim versus Brown, and UFC 322, JDM versus Islam Makhachev. This is probably a long video. I apologize for that. Not really though, because this is my fucking video, but besides that, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys thought about the predictions. Let me know what you guys think about the up-and-coming Fight Night card that is about to happen. And let me know what you guys thought about UFC 322 as well, because that is going to be a banger-ass pay-per-view. After that, I'll probably go through the last bit of cards. After 322 ends, I'll go through Saruki and a Hooker. I'll make a video on that. And 323 and Cape versus Royval. Other than that, though, I really appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a good rest of y'all's fucking day, man. And yeah, I'll see you.